Hey Frag fam, Corbin here again from Northwest Scent. Today I'm really excited to be bringing you a review of the newest upcoming Tom Ford fragrance. This one is in the private blend line. It's going to be an absolute banger for the spring and then the summertime as well. So if you guys are interested in hearing about it, please stick around. But first, let's roll that intro. All right, welcome back. So like I said, we got an awesome new private blend fragrance from the Tom Ford line. This one's gonna be perfect for this upcoming summer. It's called Soleil Brûlant. So starting right off with the basics of the fragrance, I do not actually have the perfumer. That information doesn't seem to be posted anywhere. I looked on Fragrantica, Parfumo, a few other websites. I couldn't find it. If any of you guys do know the perfumer behind this awesome fragrance, please let me know down in the comments section below. But as far as the classification, it is classified as an Oriental Woody. And then the release year was 2021, which is this year, of course. Now moving over to the presentation side of things, unfortunately, I do not have the box for this fragrance. When I bought it, it only came with the bottle, but I do imagine, actually I'm almost 100% positive, it's gonna look like the rest of the private blend boxes, which I do have an example here. This one's for Oud Mineral. You know, you have this nice little podium or pedestal that the bottle sits in right here in the bottom, like so. So it's a nice presentation. And then, you know, you get this slide or this top cover that slides over. It's a very hard box, so it's very protective for the bottle itself. Obviously, it's gonna have the name of the fragrance here. Instead of Oud Mineral, we'll say Soleil Brûlant, and then it'll be a different color scheme, but everything else for the box will probably be the exact same. And then moving over to the bottle itself, this is actually one of the prettiest looking Tom Ford private blend bottles I've ever seen. It is gold plated and it is ultra reflective, as you guys can see, but the only issue with that is it is a fingerprint magnet. I cleaned the bottle beforehand and you guys can already see it's covered in my fingerprints, so this is one of those bottles you're gonna have to clean constantly. It is kind of a snug cap, but sometimes these private blend bottles do slide out a little bit, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend picking it up by the cap. If you look in the top, it has a Tom Ford plaque, and it actually looks almost like it's made of marble. Really nice looking. I think it is just plastic, but it's just a nice touch to this already gorgeous bottle. Very reflective. And then again, here's the atomizer. It's just your normal private blend atomizer. Nothing too special. And that's the presentation for the new Tom Ford Soleil Brûlant. So now moving over to the scent itself, I will put the note breakdown on screen for you guys to check out. Now as far as the notes go, when I first got this fragrance, it wasn't officially listed or announced at the time. And because of that, I did not have a note breakdown to go off of. So I really just had to go off of my smell. What I got the most from this fragrance when I first tried it was coconut, vanilla, and then caramel. Now there isn't an official vanilla note, but amber is a blend of vanilla with some resins. So I think definitely as far as the amber note goes in this fragrance, vanilla is the more dominant piece of it. Very creamy and sweet. There isn't coconut listed in this fragrance, but I still get a ton of coconut from it. I don't know if it's just like a hidden note, something that they didn't officially list, but it is in there somewhere. That really ties this fragrance into Soleil Blanc, which this is a flanker of. And I think it is definitely a similar fragrance, and you can tell it is a flanker of that one. Definitely separates itself enough from that where it's not redundant. So you get a very sweet coconutty smell. There is honey in this fragrance, not caramel, but I think the way the vanilla and then the honey blend together, you get that really sweet kind of resinous, creamy caramel smell basically. And then there is some pink pepper in here as well, and a little bit of orange blossom, which gives it kind of a fresh spiciness. Those both add to the creaminess a little bit as well. And then you get some nice citruses at the top. There's orange and then bergamot. So a very refreshing yet sweet and creamy fragrance with a little bit of spiciness. I actually, as it does dry down a little bit, about an hour in, I get a little bit of a kind of peachy smell, and I think that just might be the orange blending with some of those spices. Again, this doesn't smell like bitter peach or anything like that necessarily, but I get a faint peachiness from it, but it does still stay a little bit citrusy as well. And then honestly, all the way down into the dry down, this thing stays very sweet and creamy. That vanilla, that honey, those are basically through the entire ride of this fragrance. And once it does get into the far dry down, I get a little bit of kind of a woody smell as well. There's woody notes and then vetiver in here as well. I think you get a little bit of both of those because you do get a little bit, a very, very small hint of that dirty vetiver smell, but it really is quite woody at the same time. So this fragrance does develop a little bit, not as much as some other fragrances, but you don't really detect those woody notes and that vetiver until the base. And because of that, you do get a little bit of development from this fragrance, which is really nice. Overall, this fragrance is all about the sweetness, the fruitiness, and then the spiciness backed by a little bit of that woody smell. I would honestly call this a summer gourmand because it is very sweet. And honestly, this fragrance reminds me a little bit of creme brulee, which if you're not familiar with that, it's a French dessert, and I can put a picture somewhere on screen for you guys to see. But basically, it's a custard, usually a vanilla custard, I believe, that's covered in a granulated sugar, and then the sugar gets torched, creating kind of a burnt caramely crust along the top. So the dessert itself is very creamy, very sweet, and very caramely kind of tasting with a little bit of vanilla. And that's exactly how this fragrance smells to me. Obviously with some added changes like the woodiness and the citruses and whatnot, but that was honestly, again, the first thing I thought of when I smelled this fragrance. Overall, it's a very decadent smelling fragrance. It's got those slight citrus, woody, and then spicy nuances, but again, it's more dominated by a kind of creamy, caramely smell, which is coming from the vanilla and the honey, and then the coconut that I believe is in there, but that's not technically listed. As far as the longevity of this fragrance and then the situations that you can wear it in, I get about 7 to 8 hours of longevity with about 3 hours of projection. So after the 3 hour mark, it definitely is sitting fairly close to the skin, but it's detectable up until, again, about the 7 or 8 hour mark. And then situations that you can wear this, just like Soleil Blanc and Soleil Niche, the flankers of this fragrance, it is definitely a summer fragrance, something you're gonna wanna wear in the warmer weather, but definitely not the ultra high heat again, because this one is very, very sweet and it can be a little much, you know, when it's like 90, 100 degrees out and ultra humid. So this would be good on those warm days and not those extremely hot days. And I think it's definitely a great vacation scent, or something that maybe if you just want to be in a vacation mindset, you can wear it then as well. And it's going to take you somewhere nice and tropical. But definitely not something you would want to wear to the office, I would say, and definitely not a casual fragrance either. It does have somewhat of an elegance to it, but it's not ultra classy and super refined either, because again, it is quite sweet. So overall, again, a phenomenal fragrance, definitely one you guys are gonna wanna check out going forward towards the summer. Well, there you go. That's my review of the new Tom Ford release, Soleil Brûlant. If you guys enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate dropping a like just to show your support, and then that way more people can see my videos on YouTube. Additionally, if you want to write a comment, just letting me know your thoughts, as well as maybe some new video ideas and topics, that would be great too. And since you're down there doing all that stuff, if you have not already, if you could subscribe and hit the bell notification, that would be amazing. That way you stay up to date on new videos whenever they get released going forward. But with all that out of the way, that's all I really have for you guys today. So I hope you have a good one. Stay healthy, stay wealthy, and smell great.